G'day, I'm Paul. We are at the launch of the new Mitsubishi Triton. Have a look at this. We're in Thailand. They've just revealed a whole stack of these, and I'm going to run you through some of the other cool ones they have on display as well. But Triton is now longer, it's wider, it sits on a longer wheelbase as well. New engine too, totally new from the ground up as well. So I'm going to run you through as much of everything that I can today before we actually get the car in Australia for a proper look and a drive as well. Now, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you subscribe to our channel, press the bell icon as well, and let's get started. It is super noisy in here, so I'm going to make do with the best that I possibly can. Okay, so let's start with the outside. They've basically got a couple of different design variations here. So you've got the chrome setup, so you can see that look down the front there under the headlights. You also have a different setup depending on the specification that darkens this section out. You've got full LED headlights over here, LED running lights up the top there, and a giant grille here with Mitsubishi along the top there. Radar sensor down the bottom, camera down here for the 360 camera as well. Now this engine is all new, so 2.4 litre twin turbocharged. It makes 150 kilowatts of power, 470 newton meters of torque. There are another couple of tunes that will be available, but unlikely for Australia at this stage. And it will also launch with a 6-speed automatic transmission as well. And then they will keep going along with stuff like the Super Select 4-wheel drive system, which means you can drive this 2-wheel drive and also 4-wheel drive high range on sealed surfaces as well, which you can't do in other vehicles in the segment. Come right to the side, I'll show you just some of the other changes they've made as well. So this car has a few accessories on it, but you can see here with this wheel arch cladding, depending again on which spec you go for, it's either body coloured or it's this sort of protruding look up here. You've got a big set of alloy wheels down here. Now keep in mind as well that again, there's different sets of tyres you can actually get with this. So this is on a set of Jewelers, which I think is what we find on the Ranger, but I have seen a Meteor one over there with a bigger set of tyres. It even has beadlock rims on it as well, which I think is a pretty cool sort of setup. This is a highway terrain tyre. Disc brakes up the front, drum brakes at the rear. So Mitsubishi hasn't gone down the path of disc brakes at the rear of their vehicles like we've seen on Ranger and the higher spec of Hilux as well. In terms of the wheel design, it's just that sort of a graphite look to it there. And as we move down the side here, you've got yourself a set of side steps. I have mentioned this in other vehicles like Amarok as well, where you've gone down the path of plastic here on the side steps. I think if you are going to be doing off-road driving, you really want something a bit meatier than this, and hopefully that's an accessory that they do end up rolling out. Up the top here, depending again on which spec you go for, you either have chrome on the wing mirror with the indicator built into there and then the camera on the side, or you will actually get a darker version that matches the front end of the vehicle. So they have kind of thought of that stuff. And have a look at these design lines as well. So from the front there, you can see as you follow the car down the side here, it really sort of sticks out nicely, and these features here match the front and those rear wheel arches as well. I like this too. This is another accessory they've fitted here to this display car. So that's your fuel cap just there that eats into that wheel arch guard, but it also has its own thing on the top of it, which I haven't seen before. It's kind of cool. I like this sail plane as well, so again, an accessory, and if you are going to be doing off-roading and that sort of stuff, it is a pretty cool look. Down here you can see the mention there that I made of your drum brakes. Now in here, suspension-wise, they have made some changes to the damping here. So it is still leaf springs. They have actually elongated the dampers, so hopefully that's going to improve the ride. It is interesting though, I have noticed here with the damper, it's actually inboard of the chassis rails. What they did with Ranger and also Hilux Rogue is actually move the damper outboard of the chassis rails to improve handling. So I'll be interested to see how this actually performs on the road when you have that kind of a setup. Let's jump over to the back here, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, so this is the rear. So over here you've got a set of LEDs. So I actually mentioned in the video we shot, it was a sit-down video where I went through all of the details. If you do want to check that one out, click up here to watch that video. But it looks like they have actually integrated an LED tail light into there. These sections here appear to be halogen though, so they haven't really sort of gone the whole hog there with LED. On the safety front though, you have front and rear autonomous emergency braking. You also have rear cross traffic alert, front cross traffic alert. There's a driver attention monitor that they're saying is a segment first. So they really have gone to town on all of those safety features. Triton badge just here. Unfortunately with the camera, it is offset again. I know we kind of mention this all the time, but it really needs to be centered so you can stick like a trailer or something on your tow ball, because it gives you a better line of sight when it comes to reversing in. So it is a little bit disappointing they have gone offset with that. But this is good news. Brake light is built into here. The reason it's good news is if you do fit a canopy or something and your brake light is up the top there, you aren't going to be able to see it, whereas when it is integrated here into the tray, it is much easier to see, which is great news. They have also gone back down the path of putting plastic cladding here on the tailgate. With Navara, when they went down the path of removing that, if you actually loaded anything into the tray, it would damage the paintwork on your tray. So it is good to see that they actually have gone down the path of protecting that. The tray is also now lower as well, so it means that it is easier to get things in and out. They've also strengthened this side section of the rear bumper too, so you can step up on that without ripping the rear bumper off the vehicle. They've also integrated hydraulics here into the tray, which is again good news. It makes it easier to open and close. It just makes ownership of a dual cab ute all the more easier. Down here, in terms of towing capacity, 3.5 tonne brake towing capacity now, so it's up from the 3,100 kilos that Triton had previously. It'll be interesting to see how it tows, given they haven't gone down the path of a V6 diesel. They've just stuck with a 4-cylinder diesel, so we'll see how that actually pans out for them. Let's jump inside and I'll run you through some of the changes they've made to the interior. So we're inside the new Triton. I actually really like this. So we'll go for a more detailed look when we finally get this back in Australia, but I'm just going to run you through some of the highlights here. So 9-inch display. It looks very similar to the Outlander, which means you're going to get features like Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, inbuilt satellite navigation, and this is going to be standard across the range, which I reckon is pretty cool. I love the fact that all of this switchgear is actually proper switchgear. You don't have to dive through menus and stuff to do basic functions, which is really cool to see. I did also notice a heated steering wheel button just there as well, plus heated seats, which I think is a pretty cool addition to the dual cab ute segment. You have glove box up the top here. I like that material that it's finished in as well. Glove box down the bottom. Top spec versions have cup holders built just under the air vents over here. You have your driver monitoring system ahead of the driver there. Steering wheel sits really nicely in the hand too, so I think they've done a great job with that. No big display ahead of the driver though, so 2 analog gauges and then a smaller digital gauge in the center there, but I think they've actually done a pretty good job with giving this a pretty luxury feel. This is a mid-spec variant as well, so it's not even a top spec, so I think they've actually done really well here with what they've had. So let's jump into the back. I'll show you how much leg room there is there. So back seat, I'm actually really impressed with the amount of room here. So really decent knee room. Toe room is okay. Headroom is actually really good. I like all these little clever ideas. So they've got storage over here for your phones, map pockets there. You've got USB-C and USB-A throughout the cabin, plus a 12-volt outlet in the back here. Not a huge fan of this, so this basically uses recycled air to get air to your rear seat passengers. So it's not fresh air, which I think is a bit of a cop-out. They should have really just had air vents down here so that you can get fresh air from the air conditioner. And you've got a center armrest here as well. So I'm going to take you through and have a look at some of the other really cool concepts they have here at this Triton reveal, because I think they've actually gone to town on accessories and sporty vehicles as well. Now, I mentioned before, I'm going to take you through some of the highlights here at the Triton reveal of just some of the crazy stuff they've put together for this launch. And the thing that has me questionably the most excited is the most ridiculous sports car you've probably ever seen. Okay, this is the one that stood out to me when I was walking around here. Have a look at that. I'll give you a little look at the race version of the Triton. What an absolute beast. So it's dropped on its guts. It's got front splitter there, like carbon on the side, advans. Look at that. It's actually very similar to the tyre and wheel package I had on my Supra. So pretty unreal look, and it is so close to the ground as well. That is awesome. So looks like they have absolutely gone to town on really customizing these. So let's go from sporty to, I guess, adventure. If you're into your camping, a little bit more TJM bull bar up the front there. But then have a look at this. This is properly set up for you to just hit the bush and do what I would never do, which is camp. I do camp, but just in hotels. This is your towing spec. So again, bull bar up the front there. Caravan at the back as well, so basically caters for all of your towing needs. Here's the workhorse, so single cab, ute, high rider, 4x2, kind of just gets the job done. So not a bad look. The front is sort of very basic compared to those premium models, but it still actually doesn't look too bad. Halogen lights there as well instead of LED by the look of it. So that has been your first look at the new Mitsubishi Triton. Let me know what you reckon in the comments section below. Do you think it's big enough of a change from the previous generation? We're going to be getting it in Australia early next year, and I'm keen to have a proper drive of it and see exactly what it's like and whether all the changes they've made to it actually come together nicely as they say they will. Just as a side note, I've been to so many car reveals globally before, and I just think what they've done here with the Triton reveal is unreal. They really have just shown all the different applications of how it can look, and yeah, it kind of gets me excited to see them on the road in Australia and see what everyone actually does to them. So if you did enjoy this video, please make sure you like it and you share it with your mates, and if you haven't done so already, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Sorry again for the shonky filming of all this. We're just trying to work around the constraints that we have here at the very limited time we actually had to film anything. So thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.